MMA is completely missing out on hand fighting. One of the biggest criticisms that I've had about mixed martial arts forever is the fact that the transition between striking and grappling is almost completely missing. Very few work any sort of hand fighting, much less like sophisticated clinching or anything. Now, some of that clinching is coming in like ONE FC, right? Because they're, Thailand based and Muay Thai, a lot of folks on Muay Thai and everything. So you're going to be pulling from a more clinch heavy crowd of fighters. Maybe some more stand-up guys too, right? Which, because throws are part of their game, there's going to be a little bit more of that. But here's the thing, right? Wrestlers learn how to hand fight. Karate guys, if they're training appropriate to what their actual style is, are going to be grabbing and hitting. Kung Fu guys are going to be doing mostly the same thing. What do you think Chi Sao is in Wing Chun? Same thing. It's hand fighting. Push hands in Tai Chi, right? It's not just sensitivity, it's hand fighting. There is so much hand fighting that gets trained. It's not just parry and punch or, fish for hooks, right? In wrestling, hand fighting initiates from fishing for hooks. But the hand fighting is really getting around each other's limbs, which are our offensive and defensive tools, because we are handsy creatures, to get to those offensive maneuvers. Whether it is to grab and hit, or to grab and restrain or twist and torque, whatever, hand fighting is incredibly valuable. And what's more, we don't see enough of that interlocking of like hand fighting, hooking, restraining, chen na, right, and striking together. We should be seeing a whole lot more of that because the sport affords us that, but we're not seeing it because people aren't training it. Like Joe Rogan has, more recently, and look, I don't listen to his show, I don't watch his show, but you see clips here and there, right? And he has talked multiple times about how, Tony Ferguson has made all this hand trapping work, right? As if it's this mystical thing. No, this has been done for centuries. We have entire martial arts systems, particularly the Southern Chinese derived martial arts systems, based entirely on this idea of getting in close, restraining the limbs in some way, shape, or form, or manipulating the structure in some way, shape, or form in order to produce strikes or to produce throws into strikes. We didn't find a lot of ground fighting or anything in those systems, but you do find chin knot applications that allow you to control the limbs and the structure in order to gain more effective hits. And the reason that we're not seeing it is people aren't training those systems. You know what you see in like every MMA gym? They put on boxing gloves and shin guards, sometimes headgear, and they just do raw basic kickboxing. Occasionally you'll get a little bit of, single collar, clinching or some double collar knees. And occasionally you'll get some kick catches, but you don't get much of that, right? They would be far better off training that, at least in Sanda style, where at least they're looking for throws, but they're just not doing that yet. And then on the grappling side of it, they are very seldomly ever working against ground and pound, against people actually trying to hold them and strike them. They're very seldomly working, holding somebody down, pinning somebody and striking them. That interconnection point between the striking and grappling, which is where most traditional martial arts lie, is going mostly unexplored and mostly untrained, and that is a shame. And that is what we're trying to correct for. There's a few of us out there that are trying to correct for that. But I guess what I'm really trying to say is it's not all just Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu. There's so much more to be explored. And if your training is not reflecting that full game, then you are going to be missing out on some major, major pieces of it. You have to identify variables before you can train them. And then you have to train variables once you've identified them. You cannot expect things to spontaneously appear if you've never trained them, except in rare chances of luck or rare chances of brilliance, right? It happens on occasion, but it does not happen very frequently. It takes a very long time span, in the lack of training, for people to just manifest things. This is why we see untrained fighters not doing very well, because, well, they don't have a framework for going from point A to point B to point C, etc. So hand fighting is extremely underappreciated. I don't care if you're grappling based or if you're striking based, and whatever disciplines you're coming from, you need to be working the intersection between grappling and striking. You have to find ways to grab and hit. You have to find ways to restrain and hit, to pin and hit. I mean, look, ground and pound is like the single most successful tactic in all of MMA. So, like, people are finding it, but that's a base schoolyard bully tactic, right? That is an untrained tactic. Find the trained way to do it, and you're probably going to find even more success. You have to find ways to train it. And that probably involves training games that force you to problem solve around that to find it. I'm not suggesting you go out and do Kakie or Chisao or Hubud and just find it. Greg Nelson trains Thug Rose in Hubud, not because he expects her to use Hubud as practiced, but because it gives her at least a little bit of some kind of a seed to start looking for that stuff. It is a very important skill. So, you should be practicing hand fighting. That should go without saying, but it honestly needs to be said because people aren't doing it. Talk to you guys later. Good journey. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share. Check us out on our other socials, and please head over to blacksunboxing.com to get a little more info, including how to contact us. Furthermore, if you are in the Phoenix area, please feel free to stop in, say hi, join in for a class, whatever. Also, if you ever see us cite sources or just for additional content, please check out our Substack. That is where we put all of the sources we use in our videos and is a major part of this. Plus, it serves as a membership platform for long distance learning and for people who would like to support us but aren't local. We would greatly appreciate it if you signed up. Even just the free membership helps us out a lot. All right, I will see you guys in the next video. Good journey.